All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I gotta cover the sector one more time. Over the weekend, we asked, give us some more rumors. Things would go crazy. We got those rumors, and it went crazy, right? You would think I would prepare some of this stuff, but no, we're going live and we're talking about it. So what happened today? Right here. So Trump will basically make a rescheduling decision over the next few weeks. All right, so listen, I have absolutely no idea how long the next few weeks is going to take, but what I really like is the technicals are starting to look really nice. And hey, let the technicals do the work while these rumors about what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks do their thing. My. All right. I see it going up a little bit more after hours. Obviously, it's a nice thing to see, but we care about regular hours. But I think that's an important thing to look at. Just because things are a big number, it doesn't necessarily mean it can't do it again, right? So we're living in a really interesting red that might green just a little bit more. I'll give my thoughts for what we'll be looking for, all right? But interesting battle with the 200 moving average obviously happening there. And then as we go through the sector, double digit day on CGC, double digit day on ACB, double digit day on MSOS, double digit day on SNDL. I didn't look at high tide. What did high tide do today? Not quite double digit, but hey, went from under all the moving averages. All of a sudden, we're re-hunting that 250 line, right? So not the double digit, but again, that's not a bad thing right there, right? All of a sudden, it's not just one stock doing well. It is this sector starting to get really excited and really hungry, all right? I think the last thing I'll say before I leave the rest for the opening thoughts, before the details, right? Just look at that volume, 224 million shares traded. Let's look at a week real quick. Look, today alone is bigger than, except for these 2 weeks right here, this single day was basically better than just about all of these weeks, right? Like that's wild right there. Just a single day, right? So monster volume, and you can't go wrong with beautiful volume, right? Where are we on the Dow Jones? Let's at least look at the index right here. And really, not the prettiest of index, right? We were hoping that this bounce on the 50 moving average would get us over all the moving averages. Definitely hasn't been happening so far, right? When we look at the S&P 500, this one is still over all the moving averages, but good candle, no confirmation, good candle, no confirmation, good candle, no confirmation, right? So far, we haven't quite been able to confirm this over all the moving averages, right? I'm actually seeing red over green. Is it red over green down here? No, the green's still over it, but that looks a little interesting. And man, I can't tell if that's going to death cross or not. But hey, we're over the lines, not under the lines. But not really liking the Dow Jones and S&P 500 as much. But these are now living in their own little world right now. All right, there's pros and cons to that. Personally, I love it when the index is good and there's good rumors, right? Like let them live both well. But hey, these did substantially better than the index in general, right? Like it's not like we had a good almost 2% day on the index and these things got 20%, 30%, 40%, whatever, right? No, we actually had a relatively bad index day and this thing smashed 40%, right? So that on its own is obviously a lot of strength, right? So a lot of good happening here, but as I always say it, we're here for confirmation. We're not here for a single candle, a single volume pop, a single rumor. We want sustainability. And man, just as we zoom out, there actually is so much just red to a real potentially interesting green. For all I know, we might just retest that death line. That was a almost forgotten line for the entirety of the year, right? So yeah, just a lot of good to talk about, all right? But before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So, look, I'm going to be talking a lot more in general right now because, again, like I said on the opening thoughts, there was so much good here. There was so much good across the sector. And it was a good day on a bad index move, right? So all of that together really to me is now just general comments less than it is, stock by stock, right? Let's just kind of run through them and then I'll come back and give like specifics, right? But look, as I look at Tilray, I mean, there is so much to love. And I mean, I said it all in the opening thoughts. Let's start with the RSI real quick. It is only a 59 on the daily. That is wildly low. And look, 74 is a little bit high, but hey, it's not in the 80s yet, right? So the daily is incredibly low, which is lovely, and the weekly actually isn't that bad either. So all of a sudden, we've got some nice little indicators going on right there, right? Look, I see after hours starting to drop a little bit. Again, we like seeing it, but we don't get overly excited, and this is a good little reminder of why, right? Sometimes it's hard to ignore, don't get me wrong, but yeah, good little, it's all good right there. The one thing I want to call out that I didn't earlier, look at this. I love this, right? When you look in the box over there, the high of the day was 92 cents, close of the day was 92 cents, right? People were literally buying until the very last second, all right? Look, all the positivity said, I see it in the Discord. It looks like it was the last thing that happened. Yo, somebody was up a quick 90% on Tilray calls. The advice was, hey, let's bank some profit. You can always buy back. And yo, I completely agree with it. I'm super glad that happened. I didn't have time to come in and out. Oh, get out of here. I figured I would cover BBAI after my video. Yo, no, I think it's still a little early. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Dang, look at that. We'll see what happens. Sorry, that's not what this is about. I love the Discord a little too much. But look, yes, profits are always good to bank. Believe me, even if you think it's going to still go up, when a solid day like this comes, yo, put it in the bank, come back tomorrow if there is still a reason to come back tomorrow, right? So Tilray right there. As I talk about CGC, a lot of the same words are about to come out, right? Monster, 88 million day. Monday alone was bigger than every single week since all right, this is the sentence. Since May 17th of 2024, all right, this has been bigger than every single week except one random one in February. Literally, today's Monday just destroys all of that, right? 5 days. Let's look at the monthly real quick, just for giggles. I guess it's not that early, but even this, look at this, right? We're only in the first week and change of August, and already we're way bigger than all of these months right here, right? So a lot of volume love, very healthy 66. MACD is now in the positive, green over red on both. We just came off of a really strong earnings candle. That's how you confirm, and arguably you can even say that that's a doji, and maybe the next one's going to be the one that confirms, right? So I'll get to it shortly, but it makes complete sense to me why we wicked right there. Look at the top of the day right here was 170, high of the day today was 170, right? So we tested this candle today. I'm pretty much expecting it to test that tomorrow, right? Let's look at the weekly real quick. This is an even healthier weekly right here at 54. MACD still isn't positive yet. And look at this thing. I already talked about it. Since May 2024, we have not had a bigger week except for this. And today is only Monday. There's no such thing as negative. Even if we have red days the rest of the week, there's no such thing as negative volume. You know what I mean? So crazy, crazy right there. Yo, I'll throw in VFF a little early because I didn't do it. Listen, we talk about a lot of stocks in the Discord that I can't talk about on the YouTube. Number one, I'm here hunting views. Number two, there's like tags I gotta do, and like, oh man, it's not the easiest thing to do this, but I love doing it so much, and I love all the comments and all that. You all know that, right? But VFF, hey, someone said it in the comments yesterday. Last earnings not only crushed it, but it continued to run all the way until this earnings now, right? And all of a sudden, what happened? Good earnings, really great volume, really great volume. Today's Monday, man, this was a real big earnings week right here. This entire volume week was 18 million. Today was 18.8 million, right? Like, I have to zoom all the way back until this candle in January 2023. In a single day of VFF, we've beaten every single complete week of trading since January 2023. And really, that's a little bit of an outlier. And you can probably go back to 2021 for some real volume, right? So just incredible volume on VFF. Really strong earnings, actually. So this is just a doji, you know that, right? But yeah, and indicators are a little high. I'll get back to that, right? But again, we're really liking that. Indicators, again, still a little high, but man, the sector strength and all that. We'll come back to VFF specifically for some earnings thoughts too, all right? MSOS, I keep praising MSOS. Yo, MSOS is the first one to get back to its death line. And I'm going to say the exact same words, and it's actually even further out. I said this in the opening thoughts. TLRY hasn't thought about the death line since January. This was like a completely forgotten line, right? All of a sudden, we're now eyeing it here. MSOS kissed it and actually went just a little bit above it, right? Like that's some monster strength, and I keep saying it with love. It wasn't that long ago I was saying this is the worst stock in the sector. All of a sudden, this ETF is moving like an individual stock. MSOX. We talked about it already on the last video. We'll talk about it again today. 52% gain makes a lot of sense if it's a 2x move on MSOS, and MSOS was around 26% today, right? So real nice right there. What else do we want to look at? Let's look at HITI. Look, I know this seems like it wasn't as good as the other ones, but hey, every single one that I looked at, this was over at least 2 or more, right? Those moving averages were down there. CGC, oh, I was wrong, but at this one, at least I made the video on Friday after the earnings, and it did pop back over all those, right? But CGC was over a few. MSOS was already over a bunch on Friday's video, right? HITI was under all the moving averages on Friday. So the fact that it actually gapped up over 4 of them and continued on upward, that is good to me. I know the percentage doesn't look that big, but this was the one on Friday's video that I said, I don't like this. I like this one the least. And hey, it still brought almost a 10% day, right? So trust me, it doesn't look like the rest, but yo, that's a good candle right there, right? I'm seeing the MACD green over red. RSI is actually the healthiest. Ooh, excuse me, a little hiccup right there. The healthiest number at only a 48. And look, again, not the wildest of volumes, but I remember being so excited when we started to live in this like million-ish number. And you can actually see I'm clicking roughly around the 700K that we traded today. That's kind of the average of this, right? There's a, let me just draw it. Like, I think it's the easiest way to do it. Right? Like roughly right here is kind of the average, oh, it's a little too high. Right? Like that's basically hitting a lot of those, kind of hitting a lot, like that's roughly speaking the average, and that's roughly speaking where we were at. And as I lower that line, it just looks that much better and that much more accurate, right? So I think I put it in the exact same spot, but you get what I'm saying. I'm seeing this as an important turnaround candle, whereas everyone else got a really nice continuation candle, and hey, hopefully they all just continue and go again, right? And that's kind of what what my view is going to be here. ACB, look at this thing, right? Again, Friday's candle was a little bit better than high tide, right? It actually did get over at least that single moving average. High tide, again, was physically under all five of them, right? So I don't even know if I covered ACB, but nonetheless, good continuation right here. Looks like it's still creeping. My next line is up there at 6. Green, 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 red, red, red. Nice volume pop right there. And basically the last time we had as good a volume pop was, oh, not that long ago, actually, that earnings pop right there. So I think I covered all of them on this quick little like go through, right? So what are we looking for? Let's talk numbers now, all right? Tilray. Yeah, that's almost exactly where we're at. We basically stopped at 50% of this lone candle right here, right? Really, I think my expectation is going to be $1.03 tomorrow. It really is. It's basically the bottom of this. It's almost the top wick of that. I would be looking for $1.02, $1.03 if we break that. You know, maybe I could even have said 107. That's the bottom of that candle and the top of that candle. I think I'll say 107. I think I would want 107 to be my confirmation. Realistically, if we jump to 107, that probably wouldn't even move the RSI too high. And maybe if we could break 107, we would make a move right here to like 115, 116. All right. I don't think I want to draw a line right here. Maybe I should, and we'll talk about that jokingly in a couple days from now. But yeah, my next real resistance is all the way up here at 151. This was the death line. That clearly was a real death line because we went from all the way up here at 151 all the way down here to the 30s, right? Yeah, so that's death and a half right there, right? So, and like I said, just like MSOS retested it today, kind of makes sense that Tilray might want to do that as well, right? On the low end, look, we just can't go below 86. As long as we hold 86 cents, Tilray is wildly bullish, all right? Let's come into CGC. What are we looking for on CGC? I think we kind of talked about it actually a little bit, right? I'm looking for it to retest 170, all right? I say that a little hesitantly because I don't know if I want to actually raise the line of 177, basically the top of those two little guys right there, right? So I think anywhere between 170 and 177 is going to roughly be our confirmation line. Really, I don't want to go below 151 right here. All right, let's hold that 151 because the problem is we don't have any moving averages until all the way down here, right? Maybe we can lower that support to 140, but again, just I don't want to lose 151 and I have to worry about that 140, right? So very bullish as long as it holds that. Really, I think this $2 target's perfect, right? Because that's roughly speaking where the 200 moving average is. Red, 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 nothing, nothing. Green, green, red, red, green, green, red, red, nothing, nothing. Let's green, green, green all the way up to there, right? So talked about the volume a bunch, okay? MSO. Oh no, I will do VF. Oh, let's go VFF. It's fine because that was the order. So look, VFF. This is an interesting mix of earnings and hype. Okay, and I think it makes sense to me that this is a little bit more of a doji because I think the market's not sure which one's going to matter most. Okay, and you would think that like doesn't matter which one's going to matter most because earnings was good, the hype was good. Why would it blend, right? What I've been noticing, and look, it might be a little offensive to SoFi people to compare the two, but yo, SoFi had really good earnings, and it's been stuck horizontal for a bit. All right. Obviously there's differences. SoundHound did not. It gapped up, right? So it's not like it happens all the time, this and that, right? But I don't know if VFF is just earnings have been a little fun. Like how do I word? Let me say it like this: earnings might be a little more tied to the Dow Jones. I think this is going to be the most educated way I can say this. If your earnings are good but your respected index is not good, sometimes index wins. So like I trade tech a lot, right? If a tech stock has a great earning, but NASDAQ is just tanking, NASDAQ tanking is going to take way more focus. And we're talking about weed here, right? We're talking about farming. We're talking about selling in a store. We're talking about Dow Jones Industrial. This isn't a great chart. And maybe people are wondering if the Dow Jones downtrend is going to like do earnings impact, right? So I'm just guessing. I really am. Nonetheless, I think I want to just echo the comment from the YouTube comment yesterday. I probably could have worded that better. Last VFF earning was good and sustained all the way until today's earning. I think it's relatively fair to expect the same thing. We've got a good reaction. Let's just wait to confirm and go. Also, you can kind of see it. This doesn't really do a great job of confirming. Good candle, doji, red. Good candle, doji, doji. Good candle, doji, doji, right? Good, like, there's a lot of just staying on the lines, not really confirming well, and just living on the lines, right? So I can see this maybe also just kind of staying horizontal, let the lines catch up, and then ride the lines like it did right here, right? So VFF gets a little bit of a separate breakout just because of that earnings little thing right there, but yeah, nonetheless, what are we looking for? We have to stay, do I say 207? Let me validate that 207 line real quick. Let's actually zoom in and improve it real quick. Dun, 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 dun. What's this line? 299, that's too high. What's 50% right there? 291. No, that's too high. Oh, we're all the way down here. I was moving the wrong line. Damn. It happens. We'll keep that here. Looks like it was bottom, bottom, top. All right. And then this one. What's your 50%? This line right here. That's where we're at. That's what we're going to use. Boom. Don't lose 222. I am very bullish over 222. Again, my thought is maybe we'll just stay horizontal, let this 8 moving average line catch up, and then ride the lines like we did last earnings right there. So that's my VFF thoughts right there. Did I do MSOS? I did not do MSOS. All right, MSOS, what am I looking for? You break 491, I think you fill the gap. All right, there's definitely going to be a resistance right there at 520. I think if you break the death line, you'll run to 6, all right? And if that break happens, keep your eyes on MSOX. Yeah, this is the right one. Wow, that looked like bad. Sorry. Because you can see it's basically 10 to 14 right there, right? So watch those two right there. I'm bullish as long as we don't lose 440. Hold 440 and good things should happen. Where are you? Oh, wow, look at that, 443. Love it. That's a good line right there. Don't lose 443 and this thing is good to go. And then, did I cover high tide? I did it not yet. Okay, so look, I'm basically expecting this thing to come up to 255. Let's not go below 235, okay? Because I don't want to lose this entire candle. Obviously, it's very bullish over 230, right? But like, let's hold 235 and really let's march on up to 255 and break that, and let's make our way to 3. That's actually the ultimate goal right there, right? So cool. I think I covered all of them hopefully pretty well. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, oh, I appreciate you so much.